I didn't bring. Then I can take you first. Yeah, boy.
Hey there. Good afternoon.
Hi, Deanna.
How are you? Nice to see you. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Don. Hey, Patricia.
So can they say us?
They can through this one.
Hi, Diana.
You see that there?
Yeah,
They're seeing this.
I see that fat guy in the blue shirt there, is that me?
Yeah, the end of the shirt is you and this, there's Luisa, there's Jane. But they usually can't see Manuel, who sits up here because he's too far forward. But for the most part, they can see almost everyone else. All right, so hopefully everyone else shows up. Looks like not only are people not here yet in person, but they don't seem to be much yet in online, although sometimes I do 15 minutes and maybe they'll come in 15 minutes. I've been trying to switch it to 10 minutes, but yeah. So while we're waiting for hopefully everyone else to show up, are there any questions? Go ahead and sign into your computers, you guys here. Anything that's come up for you?
Or gone down?
Or gone down? I am drawing a blank. I know that I finished the class last week saying that when class starts, I was gonna do something. Did anyone take notes and write down what that was? I was like, as soon as it starts, I'm gonna show you or tell you about something or another.
This one.
Yeah. Iafra, what's that?
Cloud.
It was something specific about the cloud that I was showing you that was important. And I said, I'll do that as soon, and hopefully somebody took notes. Because I remember saying, okay, I'll start with this. I remember saying it, but normally I'd take notes, and somehow that day I didn't take notes of what that. I mean, I know a lot of what I want to show you, but what was the one thing? Oh, was it the battery? Low power mode? I already did low power mode. Didn't I?
Yeah, I think
Oh, the control center. The control center. I'm like, if I went to battery, what would be the control center? That's what I finished with. I said I'm going to start with the control center because it's really useful and helpful. There you go. Yay. I'm so glad that even without my notes, my brain still works. Okay. So thank you, Patricia. Everyone who's home, if you could like check in on the chat, that would be great. I used to be really comment on that all the time, but now in the reports, I kind of see who's there, but I'd still appreciate. And then Jackie, can you add your last name? I'm so
Yes.
accustomed to knowing that you're Jackie Krantz, but then when I look at the rosters, I see that it just says Jackie, and I definitely need to remember that it should say more than that. So, how you doing, Joshua?
I'm doing great.
Okay, so Cynthia and Betty are not here. You guys is not here. Martha said she doesn't get to come anymore. So I'll take those two out. Don, I still have your name tag here. You're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep, where's my camera? Oh, I'm not. No one's seeing me. Why is my camera not working? Oh, I haven't connected to this one yet. That's fine. Sorry, I'm like, you guys, I've been talking without. Sorry about that. I see you and I don't notice that for a bit that you don't see me. Here I go. There I am. I was looking going, something's missing. You're not seeing me. I have your name tags. You're gonna keep being online for the next few classes. Should I get rid of this name tag, Don?
You can get rid of the name tag. I like the Zoom.
Great, great. Well, Jane was mentioning that she enjoyed, or she found how useful it was to be on Zoom that day that we had the rainstorm that everyone had to be on Zoom. So yeah, it is really useful. Sorry, tie my hair, it's getting in my face. And it takes a little bit of getting accustomed to when you're taking a class, just having ideally to be on two screens. If you're on one, then splitting them in half is what's hard. But if you can do that, then yeah, staying at home is a good option. In particular, and I don't want to discourage people from coming in person, but if you have your own computer here, like laptops, that's fine. For those of you who have desktops, it's easier if you can work on your own computers, right, from home. So yes, Jackie, your hand is up.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes from last time, and what I wrote was that you said that you would go into greater detail about low power mode.
Yeah, so that was the control. That was I had talked about low power mode, and then that led me to talk about the control panel where you can access a low power mode. So perfect. Thank you for your notes. At least it confirms what I thought was happening, which sometimes, brain. Okay, so here's the deal. This all started on the phone. A lot of the stuff that's new to the Macs starts on the phone. If you look at what the computers could do when you have an older computer set up like Jane's and what it can do now, for the most part, it's not so different, except for anything that has to do with connection to the cloud and the internet, right? That's where things really changed. How to create files, handle files, store files, all that is been the same for the last 20 years. It's just what you can do with respect to those files. And James, you can close that window. That one, whenever it says Adobe, it's not for the Mac class. You can always go to that little red thing and just completely get rid of that. Yeah, there you go. And then you can say, I think that's cancel out of that, or say okay, and then cancel out of that. Because that's maps. But now you minimized it, which is not the same as canceling, but that's okay. So when files started to be able to be saved online instead of on the computer, which is what we've been talking about, the cloud, that's kind of how Jane is using the cloud right now, or Julie is using the cloud right now in that mode, in the sense that in the sense that hold on, I need to connect my mouse. There we go. That at first, Apple made a space in the cloud for us to just put stuff in if we wanted extra. And so both of you guys who don't have, anyone who doesn't have their files shared the way I showed you last week, where the desktop and documents appear on your files, on your folders and everywhere. Anyone who doesn't have that also has an iCloud Drive where they can put things individually. I'm not going to focus too much on that, but it's just that everyone here, no matter what they discovered last week about their files, everyone has access to that iCloud Drive on the Sky and the iCloud. Put stuff in it, but only the people who have this reciprocal, agreement where from the computer files go to the cloud they go to the phone, from the phone they go to the cloud, from the cloud they go to the computers. You have to set that up. Only those people get to see their files that they want online. Well, at the same time that this began to happen, people began to have phones and iPads. And on the phones and iPads, it's, on a computer, you can have many windows, many screens, and, confusing as though it is, everything can be available to you. But on a phone, you've got this one little screen. And remember how small phones were at the beginning. And so they began to do this thing where in one fell swoop, you can have a few tools at hand, right? And then when that became really useful on the phone, people began to want that on the computers. So I'm going to first show you this on the phone to show you how to handle it, because really that's where it's at its most powerful. When I show it to you on the phone, those of you who have iPads, it's exactly the same on your iPad. And then I'll show you that same feature on the computer, where those of us who, those of you who bought a computer after becoming acquainted to iPhones and stuff like that, you'll discover, oh, that's really, that's the same thing I've used on my phone. But for people who've used the computers forever, they might not even notice they have this thing called the control panel. So what I'm talking about is the control panel. And most of your phone, pull out your phones. This is about the phone. So pull out your phones. And this is the part that I'm going to share my screen now with my phone. And if you have an iPad, it's the same for the iPad. So the iOS, which is the operating system for the mobile devices, are identical for Mac or for PC. So when you get this beginning screen, you know that you can open it or not by putting in your password or whatever it is that you need to do.
Well, we go settings.
Right now, it doesn't matter where we are, leave settings, just be in that main beginning page. Just go back to this page where you just see your icons on your phone. Go ahead and do that. You do that, Ephra?
Move it,
Just this main, like here.
yes, I have.
Okay. Now, if you want to reach anything, you either have to know which app it's on, or some of you might have some basic set of apps down here, which might be the same as mine or not. These are the ones that come in automatically, but someone could have changed them for you and put other stuff in there. Like some people have never used Safari on their phone. Sorry, it depends. But this is what comes with your system if you don't alter it. Usually what I do when I teach is I have this phone is not altered from what you buy from the store. And it comes with these options. So you might have them altered or not. But if you have a phone that's, I believe, iPhone 10 and newer, what I'm going to show you applies. And if you have an older than an iPhone 10, you get the similar thing a different way. So if you have an older than iPhone 10, wait for a minute. But if your phone is newer than an iPhone 10, then take your mouse and go straight up to the top corner, but outside of the corner, like not in the screen itself, but almost go outside. And then if you could see my hand, gently, no pressing or anything, just swipe diagonally down from the corner. Okay, so just swipe down. And again, it's just, you grab your mouse like, and you go shoof like that, okay? Like that. And I actually have something, you probably won't have this thing in the middle here, but you should have the rest of this. If that worked for you, okay, and let me help people in person to do it. The phone has to be standing up upwards like this. Now do like that. Yeah, not like that. From outside, it's, oh, you have such a thick, the actual top corner. Okay, so there. So I see what you're doing. You're dragging. This you could do from anywhere, from the side to side. You think you can drag like that. You go to the very, very hold on. So now touch the very, very top corner and then drag down. This is what. So not from, yeah. Very, very, nope. Yeah, there. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so try that again. Go to the very corner, bring your finger down. There you go. Perfect. Were you able to get it, Lisa? How are you guys doing, Jane and? Perfect. Jane and
So mine's an 8, but if you just go like that.
yeah, so if you have an older one, no, okay, so go from the very, very corner and gently pull. Okay, so let me see if your phone do you have? If your, I'm checking out on phones to see. It's an iPhone 13 Pro Max, okay, so you should be able to have it. So there it is. Okay, so it's not like sideways or pulling down, it's from the very, very, very top corner. Do like that. So put your finger on the very top. Start from the top, almost from the outside. Gentle. Yeah, there we go. That's it. And just a gentle, slowly, it doesn't need to be a big swoop, just a little, as long as you just do that much, it works. So try that. Just a 1 inch. See what I just did? I just did 1 inch. Not a big swoop. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so perfect. All right. So everyone here has it. If you have an iPhone that is older than 10, then you do the same thing, but you start at the very bottom of your screen instead of in the top corner. You put your finger kind of outside of this area and then you just gently pull up and the same thing, control panel will show up. Now, when I say the same thing will show up, I guess I haven't set this up here. And so this is interrupting me. Let me see if I can get this out of the way for a second and see if now that works. Yeah, so this shouldn't be here. This started appearing in this last setting. I need to see why it's appearing. But most of you will have these settings and a few more down here. Yeah. And I'm going to show you what this is. If you are on your phone, right? And you suddenly need something quickly, instead of having to go all the way into the apps, you do this little swoop up there in the corner. And this is like a quick access to a lot of basic important things. One of which in this case would be, for example, the brightness of your screen. You can go up and down here and change the brightness of your screen. So go ahead and you should all have that one little guy right there. Okay. Is that working for you? Okay. Let me give a second here. I need to change. I need to see someone else's to see, because I've already adapted to what mine is.
Mine won't be published.
It's okay. No. So I have, so this is all you have. That's fine. This open home is in the way. I wanted to see you have the Android camera. And let me see yours. Okay, you do have a flashlight, you do have the viewer. Okay, I'm just trying to see what comes with people's phones automatically beyond what I have. Someone has a flashlight. Okay, got it. So, did you bring your computer today, Betty? Betsy? Did you bring your own computer today?
Yes, but I've been locked out of it the whole weekend. I've been locked out of it for the weekend.
Well, then I don't know how to help you. Okay, so hold on. So back to, I need to share my screen again. Let me let Anna in. I was helping the new arrival. Okay, sorry, I'm sharing my screen again. Okay, so here's my my control panel. And notice that at the very top left, everyone should have this little square right there. And in this little square, you have a couple of different options, but the most interesting one is this plane where if you happen to be on an airplane and they say, please disconnect your phone, you know, that kind of thing, and you press that plane, notice that what happened, these three changed their color. And when I press it again, these three go back to being blue and green. So what does that happen? Let me just show you. This is the way it should normally be. Please make sure to leave it in this mode because we're not on a plane. This is your cell phone data. This is your Wi-Fi. This is your Bluetooth. You might have this one off individually or this one off, but probably you all should have that one on because this is what gives you a phone. If you turn this off, you cannot be called and you cannot call. If you turn this one on, you can be called and you can call, okay? So this represents your phone and data. Maybe you go to the internet on data or something like that if you don't have Wi-Fi, right? So that's that one. Now, this one here is Wi-Fi. So if you don't have this one on, you are not connected to Wi-Fi. If you have it turned on, then when you turn it on, it searches for any Wi-Fi network that you have nearby and it connects you. And this is telling you that, yes, you have Wi-Fi connected. So those two are pretty obvious, Wi-Fi and data. Unless you have any questions about that. The bottom right one, that means Bluetooth. So when I turn this one on, I have Bluetooth connected. Bluetooth connections enabled, it says up there. Now, Bluetooth is something, how many of you guys know what Bluetooth is and use Bluetooth in your daily lives? Like, you know about Bluetooth. I'm seeing an answer from Barbara. I don't know if it's an answer from this. Anyone else who uses Bluetooth? Don uses Bluetooth. Okay. So you might even not know that you do use it, but Bluetooth is the cable-free connection. How do you, I'm drawing a blank. You know, when phones began to not be attached by cable to they were called cordless. There we go, cordless phones. Okay. Bluetooth is the way to connect things cordlessly to your phone. So for example, I have a set of headsets over here that I connect to my phone. And when I want to listen to music or to anything I want to listen to, or phone calls or Zoom meetings, I'll put on my headsets, but they don't have a cable. I don't need to connect to my phone. I just connect them through Bluetooth. So it's the cordless connection between a device and your phone. Same thing for your computer. You can have cordless connections from your keypad, for example, from your keyboard to your phone, or from your mouse. Okay, so anyone who has a Magic Mouse, Magic Mice don't come with cables. They are connected by Bluetooth to your computer. Okay, so that's what it is. It just means cordless connection. Okay, so if you have no devices that are cordless and you keep this off, that uses less battery power. So there's no need to keep it on if you don't have any cordless device. So that might be a good one to just turn off if you go, nope, I don't use any of those. If you're not sure, then keep it on. And as I go in to investigate different things, you'll know if it's something that maybe, oh, you do have a device that you didn't know. Some of you guys are connected to your TVs and you can use your phone as a remote control. Well, that'll happen through Bluetooth. Okay. There's so many things I know you can do with your phone. I start giving options and people immediately want to be like, oh, what are all these ways? Hi, Anara, by the way, I'm on my phone right now. So on my phone, I'm demoing the phone. So please grab your phone and let me explain how we got here. You put your hand way at the top right, very gently, and just very gentle, soft mouse, so soft finger, not pressing. You drag down like, that's it, just a gentle drag down, an inch of a drag down, not like a huge super fast, just a gentle whoop with your finger, and that pulls down the control panel. All right. I never actually asked, did everyone at home, let me give you your clear answer. Did everyone go at home find it? Did you all get to your control panel? Hopefully. If you cannot find it, let me know. But hi, Dorothy. Patricia, Honora, are you there, Honora? Were you able to find it now that I showed it to you? I'm not sure, Honora, whenever your sound is off right now. So if you're speaking, I can't hear you. All right.
If I slide down, I can't get it, but if I go into settings, I can get that.
No. You wouldn't get this from settings. It's different. So what kind of, do you have a phone that's newer than iPhone 10 or older than iPhone 10?
Oh, older than 10, I think.
Okay.
Wait a
So-
minute, I already have all that stuff up on my, it's always up.
Yeah, not this. What I want you to get is this.
Oh, okay, well, how do I get that?
That's why I need to know if it's older.
Oh,
than
I just got it. I think I just got it.
Oh, it's newer than iPhone 10. Okay.
Hmm.
For older ones, you need to drag it from the bottom of the screen from down here, and from newer than iPhone 10, then you just grab this little corner. Okay.
I didn't
So
get
it's
it.
supposed to give you quick access to stuff that's really useful. Now, the most useful thing that's here, so that's a quick little access to what that up there is. I'm going to skip all these for a minute and head down to one of the ones that's the most useful ever to me, and it's this flashlight. How many of you guys have ever needed the flashlight in the dark, right? I mean, it's ridiculous how much we need, and you can't see it, you guys. But yeah, so some of you might have it and some of you might not. See how I have a bunch of stuff here that you might or not have? That's kind of the story of what I'm about to teach you. But mainly, it's okay if you don't have it. I'll show you how to put it on. Some people, depending on if someone. Yeah. So I'll show you how to get more or less of these things. The whole point right now I'm showing you is how to quickly access any of this and then use any of these as needed. And so no matter where I am, the moment I walk into my house at night, out of my car, open my keys, the first thing I do is pull down the control panel and turn on the flashlight. And I don't know if you guys can see it at home, but my flashlight's turning on.
I just tell Siri to turn on my flashlight. I just say, hey, Siri, turn on my flashlight.
That's true too. Yeah, Siri's amazing. I haven't really talked much about Siri, but that's a good one. If for any reason Siri isn't responding or not working, then that's how you would do it by hand. Now, you can also press long on the flashlight. And then this thing comes up where you can tell it to be a stronger flashlight or a less strong flashlight, right? So, and then when you're done choosing, if you want it to be a low light or a top light, then you just kind of hit the side again. So if I long press, I can just move my mouse here up and down my finger. And then when I'm done, because I want it at its biggest, then I just kind of click here with my finger and it goes down again. So now I've brightened my flashlight. Now I'm showing you the flashlight and some of you don't have the flashlight, but give me a second and I'll show you how else the rest are. But the one I want to show you that unless I've told you before, most of you don't have here is this one. This was the low battery power mode or regular battery power mode. Remember I taught you that at the end of the week, at the end of the class, last class. Well, this is what I do in the morning. I'll wake up, I'll look at my phone, which I know won't last me till the end of the day, or depending on what I do, might not last me. And the first thing I do, the moment, not that when I wake up, but the moment I grab my phone after waking up, I pull down from the top and I just press that button right there, boom. And my phone goes into low power mode. So now I know that no matter what, I'm gonna have battery for the whole rest of the day. Now, some of you guys, that's really useful, some of you not, depending if you have a very new phone with a powerful battery, you don't care. But so many people have troubles with older phones with running out of battery. So do that. Okay, put your mouse in the very top corner. Here. And here's your flashlight. Turn that on. Okay, so let me explain how to get that. So I am just showing you something that 90% of you don't have here. This guy, right? Some of you don't have the flashlight, or some of you don't have the other things that I have here that I explain. So now let me show you how you put things on and off. And then we'll come back to here to see which ones we want to use or not, because you might not want all of these, you might want all of these. So let's just leave this mode by just pulling up from the bottom. You pull up from the bottom like that and it disappears. So again, you can also
Can I ask a question?
you can also grab the top and just pull backwards up to get rid of it, like doink or doink, doink or doink, like boink, and it comes in right there, and then I have to do it by hand and then point like that, it goes away, and point like here it comes in, or I can pull from the very bottom down here and just pull up like that for it to go away, and I'm back in normal. So where do we go put all these things in or off my control panel? Let's go to the settings. And yes, head down to the thing called, and of all the different settings that you have, here under general is the control center. Let's sit in there for a minute while someone was trying to ask me something.
Yeah, I pressed a button when it was on the other screen and it said dark mode. What does dark mode mean?
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Instead
okay.
of teaching you one loose thing that happened, just hang on to that. Let me teach everyone in general, and then I'll go into things like dark mode or not. So how's it working for you? Is it working? You found the spot? Okay, so put your finger like right there and then just hold on. Don't let me frustrate you. When you're in your phone, you just grab from this corner, gently pull down, just a little pull, like that one, a very deep one. So. You need to answer that? No, we just, I don't know, whoops, oh, sorry. I have it. Section 8, so that is crazy. Okay, so put your finger here and gently pull down, just like that. Do that. Nope. So it needs to be from this top corner. If you're from a little bit less in the corner, it does other stuff. So maybe top corner, like that. Okay, try again.
Code scanner. I didn't know I had that.
Notice that you keep holding it as if it matters. And it's just a little pull, and it goes away. Pull, and pull. Try that. Just a little pull. There you go. Nope, that's a different thing. See? So hold on. You need to go back to the other. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And you're almost going too hard. Now try to pull it away. Pull it away. Yeah, now your light was left on. So go back. Hold. Okay, now go back. Okay, pull that down. And then turn it off. Okay, so I was just showing, because Cynthia had joined us a little bit later. Okay, so over here, you have access to whatever it is that you want to put in your control panel or not. Control center. Whatever says minus means that it's already on and you can take it away. Like if I were to click minus right there, I could remove the flashlight, right? I would have to click on that and say remove. Then if I go to my control panel right now, my flashlight is gone. Yeah, I don't have a flashlight. But if I go here, anything that I don't have has gone down to this area. So I go, oh no, I want to add the flashlight again. So I press this plus. And now if I go to my control panel, there it is, the flashlight's there again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The settings, you choose what you want. So now, if I already have my low power mode turned on, so I'm gonna remove it, for example, I think there's others here that I have that you guys might or not have. I'm going to take out my alarm or take out my text size or take out my magnifier. So I took a bunch down, take out my notes. I took a lot out. So if you look at my control panel right now, there's only these 4 things in there. Well, one is the calculator. If you've ever wondered if your computer has a phone has a calculator, there it is right there, boom. You press on that, you do all your numbers, and then when you don't want it anymore, yeah. So there's your calculator. This is a timer, right? Have you ever had to do a timer for?
I use mine every day for my soft-boiled egg.
There you go, for your soft boiled eggs, which by the way, I also agree with Honora. I rarely come in here to put in a timer, which is a good idea. Many times I just call out to Siri and say, Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes or whatever minutes you might want, right? So meaning you can do a lot of these by hand as well. This gives you access to the camera again, which you might not need because in the end you can access the camera very easily. So what I'm saying is this is a place to choose what you want handy, really handy. So like this one here is voice memos. If I click on this, it'll make a recording of whatever's happening right now. Do I need that handy at all? I don't know. Do I really need to be able to record things all the time as I'm speaking? Well, if you're one of those persons who does need that, then that might help. Maybe someone's giving you instructions on how to do something and you don't want to take notes. Then you can come over here and press on this and say Louisa's teaching me how to, I don't know, get the bus to go to her house. I could click on here and she'll explain turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right. And when I get off, I'll listen to her saying turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left. Just little ideas like that. There's so many different reasons why you might want to do this or not. But every time one of these opens, then that app stays open. That's maybe you didn't even know we had a voice memo app. And if you decide, nah, I don't need voice memos, then you take this one and say, nah, I don't want voice memos and remove it. But then you go down here to the pluses and you go, oh, what do I do want? Well, I do want to enable, this is what I said about Apple TV remote, right? If you have an Apple TV, you might press this plus sign and then now there's your Apple TV remote right there. So, and so that you can choose what to do as a TV, which we don't have set up here. So it's just sorting around and just looking. But if you were at home and you had a TV with Apple TV, it might have found it. And then you can just now move it as a remote control. Again, if you go, no, why would I have that? I don't need it, right? Then you take it off. So some of you had it on before and didn't know what it was there for. And you go, I don't have an Apple TV. Now's the times to click on the minus and to remove. Now, the ones that I do like a lot precisely are the low power mode. This is the one that I'm telling you about. Low power mode to me is really important. So I'm going to go plus. Oh, let me, I'm connected to my, it's Afra who went outside. So I turned on the low power mode. I really like the magnifier. I'm going to show you the magnifier. So if you don't have the magnifier on, I'm going to press plus on the magnifier. Is Afra okay? Yeah, sorry, that door locks. Are you okay? No, that's good. All right. What else?
Dark mode. What is dark mode?
The dark mode here, I'll put it on so that you can see what it is. I'll put it on the dark mode. I'd like, the text size one is really cool, so I'm gonna put on the text size. I take notes in my notepad all the time. So I use notes and quick notes all the time, but if you've never used the notes, then you might not need it. A stopwatch, if you don't use it, your wallet, if you wanna use it, if you don't, etc. But there's also these hearing accessibility, things like that. I've just put in a couple more in. And so now I have the calculator, the timer, the camera, the flashlight, low power mode, magnifier, dark mode, and text size. Why am I reading them to you? Remember that the top one is the calculator, the bottom one is text size, and the flashlight someone the mirror. Now pay attention to
Turn
it.
off the flashlight.
I'm going to pull down and notice that they're in order. There's the calculator, somewhere reading left to right. There's the battery power, and here's the text size, which is what I said was my last one, right? So I can choose to change the order. If the one that I want the most important is the power mode, I'll click on these three little dots right there, 3 little lines, and drag it to the top. Say I want low power mode to be the top, or the one I want the most is the flashlight. I'm gonna click on flashlight and put it at the top. In my case, actually, I like the flashlight so much, I want it to be at the very bottom. Why? Because then when I do this, I don't have to search it amongst a lot of icons. I know that the bottom left button, boom, that's my flashlight, right? So you can reorganize these in the order that you think most works for you. And you do that from moving these up or down. Now, I'm gonna go and explore some of these that I turned on. But the one that I've been asked a few times by Honor is this dark mode one. So I'm gonna select that and see how my whole phone went into dark mode
Ah,
and it goes into light mode,
yeah.
dark mode, light mode. That's something you can choose to have your phone do automatically. At sunset, it'll go into dark mode. And in daylight, it goes into light mode. Or you can say, I always want it in dark mode, or I always want it in light mode. My son, for example, likes his phone always in dark mode. I like to use it automatically, which is not by turning it on and off here, and I'll show you where I let that as the sun sets, it goes into dark mode. That way, all that blue light and all that stuff that's affecting my sleep, it goes into dark, and it's when I look at my phone, I'm not blaring with white light. But if you don't need to do that yourself, if you just let it do automatically, then you don't need it here. And I don't normally turn it on or off myself. I let the phone do it when it's time. So I'm going to take this one off from my main panel. If I dare change my mind, I can go and bring it up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there's a lot of funky and there's a lot of fun ones here that you can use. I'm going to show you the ones that I think are really cool. This is the text size and the magnifier are ones where if I want, have you ever gone to a menu, to a restaurant, and you can't read the menu because you left your phone, your key, your glasses in the where? So I like this one because you press this button right there, which is this magnifying glass, and it lets you magnify. So here I'm looking at my keyboards, and I can go here to this right there, and I can make it even bigger. Like I can make this be even bigger. So I could like have, look at how big this one key of my keyboard is looking. I don't have anything tiny here with writing. So here's a handout that has really tiny writing. Well, I can just point to it and make it bigger, and there we go. Now I can read it really well, or smaller, right? I can lighten it up. I can turn the flashlight on my phone from here so that I can have it lit up, and then I can read it. Like, there we go, enterprise ID and sign in. I wouldn't have known it said that. Turn off the light, and then if I just look at it, because if I look at it, that's how big that looked, which I wouldn't have been able to read that right there, right? That thing. So I just approached it with my phone and did like that. Oh, that's what it says, enterprise ID and sign in. Does that make sense? So I personally find this one really useful. Because I don't always have my phone, my glasses with me. So if you like that, then you would turn on the one called the magnifier glass. This one, which is the AA, changes the size of the text on your computer on the apps that respond to it. It's not on everything. But if I click on this AA, I have a default text for 100% size is the size that all the text in the computer is going to look. But I could just default my text to be bigger. See how this text size, I can make it be much smaller so I can barely read what's on my screen. I can make it, this is the default that comes. Or I can make it be bigger. Hold on, and when I go to my computer and my phone in general, all the text, you might not notice, but all the text of it got bigger. And how I did that is I put the text size control. So when it's not there, it'll be in the plus signs and you'll go down to almost the bottom and the text size, press a plus, and it moved up here to my control panel, and that's where I found it. Now, maybe you want it for one particular thing and then you want to bring it back to normal. I know in my real phone, this is my school phone, I kind of have it set up to like 110, I think, is my text size is a little bit bigger than normal. And that helps for me to when I need to read something. So that's, if you don't need that much, then don't have it there. So on and so forth. Is there any one of these that you want me to show you?
Music recognition,
What's that?
the music recognition.
Oh, that's a fun one. Music recognition is one that I just pulled it up, so now it's up there. If you have music,
What it did, and that I said of the,
this one,
none of that, and that after the camera, next to camera. Next to
This
camera,
one?
yes,
this
what
is
it
the timer. So I can get a 10-minute timer set up really quickly. Or whatever, you know, however many minutes I want something to be. So like when I have to put on a timer, I like to say, Siri, set timer for 10 minutes, but there it is, it's doing it. Just because I said it, it picked it up.
Oh my God.
I just told it. Your phone said, but if not, I can just come to my control panel and do it this way, right? And set up a timer that way. This one, which is the one that James just asked me, if I had music playing right now, right? I could put on some music on something. You press this button and it starts listening. And then it can tell you what that music might be. So see, when you turn it on, see how up here it says Shazam music recognition on. And it listens all the time for the music. And then when you open that app, it tells you what author, what sound, pay, or whatever it was using. Again, something that might be tremendously exciting to some people and others like, man, I don't need that. So you choose that. Anyway, if you have issues with hearing and you turn on the hearing one, which is what I just did, and you do that, then you can have the sound, like I think it's also for your phones, like you can have it make the background sounds turn on, like rain background sounds, or
How'd you bring that up?
this one I haven't, this one is new, so I don't know it as much, just so you know. But how I brought it up, you go to your the hearing is the one that I turned on. Okay. Now I left my music recognition. I left my sound recognition on. And hearing. I believe it's for. I believe, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but that depending on what you do with this, if you're trying to listen to like maybe Zoom or conversation on your phone or something, this helps filter out some of those background sounds that exist on the street or stuff like that, so that you can hear the person better. Now, the other day my dog was barking and I was talking to my son. I'm going to take these off and I don't necessarily want them right now, but I was talking to my son and I could barely hear him. And I said, oh, can you hear the dog? He's barking so loudly. And he's like, nope, I can only hear your voice. I can't even hear the dog. And the dog in my space was really loud, but he had headsets on that filtered sound kind of like that. And he could hear my voice, but he couldn't hear the dog. That was kind of interesting example of that. But anyway.
Yeah, he made some arrangement there. He did something there. Your son.
He was talking to me on the phone and my dog was barking
Yeah.
very loud for me. but he couldn't hear the dog. He could only hear me because he had a filter, he had headsets on that filter out other sounds other than the human voice. So he was able to hear me fine, even though I could barely hear myself. Right? So that's the kind of filtering those things do. He had headsets that did that for him in this case versus that.
So
that
how
setting.
you can,
What's that?
how you can,
Well, I believe it's this one, and I'm just saying this one's new. The hearing, so I'm not 100% sure that that's how it works. I'll look it up. But it seems to me that that's what it is. And then when you're trying to hear someone on the phone and you can't hear them well, you can go over here and then go here and have it like get rid of certain noises or something like that.
What about the wallet, Diana?
Yeah, so I don't, by the way, I'm an expert on a lot of stuff, but I'm not an expert at every single thing. And the hearing one is new, so I'll look it up. I don't know exactly how. The wallet is pretty cool. I'm gonna put up the wallet. The wallet's an app that you have on your phone, that if you choose to use it, right, you can record your credit cards on it. So say that you choose to, have you ever heard of Apple Cash or Apple Pay? You go to the store right now. Have any of you done this? If you were to say, plus, I'm gonna add a credit card here, right? I would take a picture of my credit card. I put in the codes to show that it's mine, and then it goes in here. And then if I go to the store and they go, okay, it's, I don't know, $25, I don't pull out my credit card. I just tap my phone onto the cash register thing where you're supposed to slide your credit card. I just do like this and tap my phone, and my credit card comes up and goes, do you want to pay? And I go, sure. And I have to double click the button and give it an okay, and it pays using my credit card. So that's what the wallet app is. And you don't need to have it on your control panel. By the way, you can do that even if it's on your control panel, but that's what it is. You can also put tickets like, what I use the wallet for the most, because I use the wallet for paying, but I don't need to pull it up like this. Like there's no need to pull it up to do that. You just put your phone, as long as you put your credit card on your phone, that works. But I love it for traveling. Whenever I get a ticket, and a plane ticket, when they give you a boarding pass, you just send it to your wallet. The other day I went to a museum in LA. I bought a ticket ahead of time, and then I went to a show and I bought a ticket, and it always gives you the option, do you want to put it in your wallet? And so when I got to LA, I just pulled out my phone, and when they said, show me your ticket, I just pulled up the wallet. There's my ticket, and they just scan it. I mean, it's amazing. These things are, you don't have to carry around tickets anymore. You go to, when you get down the plane and they ask you for your boarding pass, you just go like that and they scan your phone, and that's your boarding pass, right? So that's all an example of what the wallet can do. It keeps your credit card, but it also keeps, you can
so
also,
we can,
well, it's in the wallet app, which you don't need to have put up there. You could also just in any part of your phone, do a search and type wallet. Like you don't need to have it in the control panel. But if you go to your regular computer and type wallet, there's that app. It's the wallet app. You do that. And then you just need to decide to put your, for example, your credit card. You go over here to this little plus sign. And it says, what do you want to add? Do you want to add a new, and I don't necessarily, I have the school credit card in here because they're paying for the iCloud 99 cents a month. So I don't want to necessarily open this, but see, there's a card here already. It says one card. If I were to open this, well, I guess it doesn't matter because it's actually defunct. It shows it to you like that. This is the card, right? And so in this case, if I say continue, I can add more cards. So it says it'll ask me for the CB code, right? And I'll put it in there and then it'll become the card. Right now, I have a choice to add this card or not. I can put in over here, the security code, and then have it just exist so that it's on file. When I do this, right now I don't have it. This is not my card. This is a school card. So I don't have a 3-point security card actually, because it's not, I don't use it. But if you have the 3 code here and you put it and you say add this card, then it would be there available to pay. right now. Actually, I need to go during break to see if Emma set it up to keep paying. Right, so this is where you add your cards, okay?
So
So-
how do you add something like say you've got that boarding pass in your mail, how do you
Yeah,
add it to the
So
wallet?
that would be something that, and I wish I had, let me see, do I have an expired, here's an example, here's an event ticket. Oh my God, this is from 2019, when I was in Argentina, I went to, it's a theater, it's an opera house that you go visit, and I got, this is not dollars, by the way, this is Argentinian money. And yeah, so this is December 2019. And when you go buy it online, right? It sends you this, they send it to you to your phone, to your mail or something like that. And on your mail, you can select it and say stash or set up or something like that in wallet. I don't have an example right now, but the option would be given to you. When you buy a ticket, the option is, do you want to save it to your wallet? When you get a boarding pass, the option is there. I don't have an example right now, so I can't really show you, but if it ever says, do you want to add it to your wallet? That's what it means. And I did. And then when I got to this place, when it was my turn, I just showed this page and they scanned it and I was let in. And since it's already used, it's under like expired passes. Right there, see view expired passes. It looks like I have a balance at the Apple store. Interesting to know. If I were to go to the Apple store with this phone, I would have a balance and they could scan this and I have a $4 balance on
What
this.
can you buy
card.
at the Apple Store?
Exactly, not even a piece of candy. But anyway, there you go. I guess it's some card that got extra.
And then,
Well, that was be 4 months of iCloud storage, so why not? Anyway, and you can set up cash. You can set up your card so that you allow, say that you want to pay someone, say that you want to pay a babysitter $25 or something like that, and you can't pay a babysitter with credit card. So you just go to this thing, you set up your cash so that she receives from your bank or from your credit card $25 in her phone. I keep saying her babysitter, then she just receives it and she just got a payment. There's so many apps that allow you to pay online right now. Venmo, Apple Pay, this would be Apple Pay, Pay, I can't remember. There's so many different ones that people use to pay online right now, and that's an example. So anyway, I don't want to get into the details. The last thing I want is to get into like trouble, have you guys do something in there and then have a mess happen. But if you're ready and want to have someone hand hold you through this, liability wise, I don't really feel like doing it, but you can do this. When you go to add and you say add this, then sorry, no order. When you go to the plus sign and add, it'll allow you to just add new cards and you can you photograph your credit card and it sets in all the numbers and then it asks you to type in the code because the code only you know. And then you go. What's that?
the code on the back.
Yeah, but when it,
3 number.
those 3 numbers, yeah, the security code or something like that.
And then the other thing you want to do is keep your phone charged. Because if this goes dead, you don't have a ticket anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really important point. If you don't have a paper boarding pass, you get to the airport and your phone died, then you probably have to go to the counter and show them the passport and have them give you a paper boarding pass, right? But if you've already gone through security and you're expecting to use it a boarding pass, then you're gonna have to sit there at the counter by the door and have them recheck your passport and find your boarding pass. They'll still be able to find it because not everyone has this, right?
Except the plane.
But yeah, there's a lot, in all the waiting gates at airplanes, they have little booths now with places where you can plug in everywhere on all the planes. So you can just go, make sure to always carry a cable to plug in your phone in case you do lose it, or make sure you have your phone on low power mode so that it lasts all day. Anyway, I just wanted to show you the control panel because it's so handy. And now you can't put anything you want in it. You can only put the things that are in this area. It's called control center. It used to be called control panel. So it's only these apps, but every time it grows, it used to be that they had, 10 apps, now they have many more. That's why the hearing one is new and I don't know really how it works. I'll look into it. I make notes all the time, like all the time. I take notes on things. So I connect my notes app. And then if I want to do just really quick note, the quick note app, it's both go to notes, but I put my quick note app up there too. And I do like to have, the two things I use the most are my flashlight and my calculator. So I have one on each end. Oh, and the low power mode I use all the time. So the flashlight, I put it at the top. Low power mode, I use at the bottom. That's just me, right? And my calculator right next. So I always know that when I get to my phone, there's my flashlight. I don't have to think about it. And every day I just ping there. I don't have to search for it. There's my low power mode. And if I need a calculator, then I'll just click on that one. And here comes the calculator. So those are my favorite of all the different apps that are here at the bottom. And the one, and see, I have the wallet there that I don't want, so I'm gonna go back into my here and take the wallet out. I don't need the wallet to be there. I don't actually use the text size one either, but I do use the rest of these. Not really the camera. I've never turned on the camera from there. It seems weird. I turn it on from the camera, but in case I were to do it there. Now, I want to show you the rest of these up here. This, as I said, is how bright or not you want it. But then you also have, you would normally have volume. What is this one? I think it's because I'm sharing my screen. Normally, if I unplug this doesn't, let me look at my real phone. That's where my volume is. Yeah, it's the volume of my Bluetooth. Right now I'm connected to the computer, so this here is showing up as that connection. But in my real phone, what I have here is sound for my phone, or if I have my Bluetooth connected, then it's sound for my Bluetooth. Okay, so if you guys over here, you probably have sound. Okay, this one is working for me right now because I'm sharing my screen. It's screen mirroring. So it's live, but most of the times, most of us don't have this running all the time in our computers. But this is the fact that my screen is mirroring it to yourself. So that's what this is indicating, right? So all of these mean something. The only one that I want to show that might matter here is this one, because this one locks your screen. Now, what do I mean by that? It locks the position, the order of your screen. If you ever have tried to look at something in this mode and then you turn it sideways and it wouldn't turn sideways. So for example, I'm going to go to a movie. I'm going to go to YouTube. I've opened up YouTube and let me just open something. What is Miley Cyrus, whatever. Actors on actors. Okay, so say that I'm going to begin to watch this. You can, but always has an ad. Hold on. So the ad goes away. It's telling me there's 7 more seconds. Okay, so when it finishes and they start talking, let me just pause it. If I want to turn it sideways, then I can have it fill my screen. You see it full. Or if I turn it forward, then my phone is just that way. If I lock my screen like that, then port orientation is locked on. So then no matter how much I turn my phone, I'm turning it right now, you guys can't see, but this won't turn. Does that make sense? You're locking it in this portrait orientation mode, it's called. And if you want to be able to then make it go sideways, so this is lock, portrait orientation lock on. If you see it colorful, it's locked. And if you ever want to see a photo sideways, anything when you sideways, you can't. When you turn it off, then when you go back here and you want to see something, it goes sideways. See that? Sometimes you want to lock it in one orientation or the other. In this case, I could lock it on the other mode, on sideways mode, so that I don't have to, and no matter, now I'm moving my phone. Oh, I unlocked it, then it doesn't move off. For example, every time I'm teaching here, whenever I by mistake move my phone, this whole weird thing happens, and then I have to go, oh, sorry, guys. It would be better for me if I were to just lock it all the time, and then that would never happen, you know what I mean? That's an example. I don't in real life use it much, but I do want to point out, but because by mistake, people touch it when they're playing around, and then you don't know, a couple of days later, when you try to see a photo sideways and it won't go, you go, what's wrong? What's wrong that it's not turning? And it's because this was turned on. So mainly I mentioned it to you guys for you to know to not have it on if you want your phone to be able to go sideways back and forth. Okay, so that's what that is.
I have a
Um,
question.
Yeah,
How can you keep something on the screen? Like mine, you know, I'll keep that like that and it'll go off in 90 seconds. You have to reboot it again.
you mean the
I mean-
whole phone,
Well, no, yeah, this just goes off and then I have to go back.
not the control panel, but your phone just turns off in 90 seconds, you mean?
No, this
This-
disappears.
This control panel, when you just pull it up and down at will, if it disappears, you need to just pull it up again. Yeah. For the most part, these things are choose, use, and be done. They're not a hangout place, so yeah, if after a few certain amount of seconds it disappears, just tap this little corner. Tink, tink, and it's not, and that's not a big movement, it's just a little tick, tick, just tick, tick, like literally. I fingered, I'm trying to imitate with my mouse, my finger's doing that. That's as far as it goes. When I let go of my mouse, and then boom. It's not a huge
Well,
movement,
that's
it's just a
not
tiny
bad, yeah.
movement. What's that?
Telephone 8, the other one 16. Yeah, put that number 8.
Oh, okay, so anyway, let me just finish with that. I'm gonna show you the control center later in the computer. But I did want to answer his question because that's a good point. What are these numbers? Does anyone remember? I mentioned them briefly. What's that?
Somebody
Eight?
called for waiting.
Yeah, what's this? That's how many phone calls I have, maybe voicemails or new calls that came in that I haven't paid attention to. Or this is text. I have 16 texts that arrived that I haven't read. The moment I open them and view them, that'll go back to 0. That's called a badge, a notification badge. So over here, I don't know what YouTube could be telling me 90. Why would YouTube be notifying me? I must have it set. This is the school phone and it has whatever settings it has. I must have it set to notify me. You can make changes. Must be set to notify me whenever there's a new who knows what. I would have to go in to my notifications app, which is something I'm going to talk about today, and change the settings so that YouTube, why would I care about YouTube notifying me? I do care about my text notifying me so that I know to check my text, but why would I care about YouTube notifying me? Maybe you do care, whichever. If so, then this is, I have one reminder coming up. I have 5,000 emails that I haven't read. I have 5 appointments or events or something in my calendar that need to be handled, right?
That's another question. I've got 10,000 emails. How do you get rid of them?
Yeah, that is part of the next couple of classes, so I will be talking about it mainly in Mac level 2. We talk a lot about emails, okay? But that isn't how many emails you have. That's how many unread emails you have. You might have 20,000, 50,000, but that's how many you have not actually clicked on and read, nor deleted, nor handled. That's what that is. I never do here on this phone handle them, so there they accumulate. But that's not how many emails you have. It's how many unread. So I have many more appointments than 5, but this means there's 5 coming up due that I have today that I haven't, to pay attention to, or 1 reminder due. Or in this case, 16 texts. I have many more texts than 16, but 16 that I have not yet checked. Does that make sense? These numbers are things that I have not paid attention to. If I go to my phone and I go see what that might be, if I go to maybe it's calls that have arrived, they're going to resets here, and I guess it's all these phone calls that I've received or something like that. Since this is a phone that I don't use. this is
You're
a-
spy in China?
Yeah, so this phone has a phone number that was assigned to this phone. And it's no one has it. It's a school phone that's not for anyone. It's a demo phone for this class. So I don't have, the only one I tried having Emma call me once to see if it was working as a phone. But other than that, this is an example of how many calls your phone arrives to your phone, because I've never deleted them. Notice that ever since I got this phone since 2021. These are just phones that people have,
Yeah.
most, as you can see, a lot of China, Shanghai, Beijing. This is spam, I guess. All of these are spam calls. The red ones are the ones that have arrived. The black ones are the one that I have made. Okay, and so I called these numbers, and then this one, it looks like I called it 3 times. But these numbers, the red ones have arrived, and I have missed it, like I
That's
haven't
another
used them.
question. When you delete something, does it actually get deleted?
Well, that's such a general question,
So like,
something.
you know, like,
Meaning depending on what and when, some things yes, some things no. That's why I don't want to give a general answer. If you see a phone call, a message, a voicemail,
yeah, any of those.
like if I want to erase that this person called me, whoever this number is, I can just pull right and then click that. And since it's my only call from 2024 and I want to have samples, I'll leave it. Let me go to the old one or the old ones. If I want to erase that this one here was a call to me, I can just move to the right and press that little trash can, and it's gone away. There's no record of that
Right, yeah.
having arrived.
But does it actually go away or does it stay on the phone?
I mean, it goes away from my phone. This is just someone telling me I got called. If I go to receive my phone bill, in the phone bill, it always shows you calls you've made and calls you've received. So it doesn't go away from the phone company, but my phone doesn't need to have this anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So
my,
basically.
if this were a phone that I use all the time and I diligently deleted everything, I would never know and who called me. But I find it useful in my real phone. If someone called me and I need to call them back and I don't remember their number, I'll come to recents and I'll just go, oh, that's the person that just called me, and I'll click again and I'm calling them back. But you don't want to touch this number, by the way, because then that will start a call, and I don't want to call these unknown people back. So I said, move it down that way, but you don't want to call back someone who's a spam caller. The last thing you want to do is call them back. So if these are people you don't know or you recognize, it's a good idea to get rid of them, right? Because if you were to just stop your mouse right here and click on it, that means that I'm calling them. And as soon as they see that there's a warm body on the other side of the phone, it's like, boom, person that I can go and now spam. So try never to call back any number that you don't know, and then push like that and get rid of it. Okay, so that's the pressing the trash can to get rid of it. All right, now this is all calls. If you just want to see the ones that you missed, then you go to missed and then see it's only the red ones. These are all the calls I've missed, versus when you go to all, in black, you have the ones that you have called yourself. So I have called this number and I have called this number. Sometime August 23. And when I make these demos, sometimes someone says, okay, call me, and I'll call their number and it gets recorded. All right, I haven't checked in with people at home in quite a while. So how's it going over there? Oh, I see Jackie has a question. Yes, Jackie?
So my question, it goes back to low power mode. Obviously the advantage is, in the name, but what are the disadvantages of low power mode, and why don't we have it on all the time?
Okay, so low power mode, and now I'm gonna go to the actual setting called low power mode. Where is that setting? It's battery. And when you go to battery, you can choose to allow this. Like you can actually have this off, and then that low power mode won't even work. But if you have this on, and see how it just went yellow up there. When you say yes, put it on low power mode, it temporarily reduces background activity, like downloads and mail fetch. So there's just a couple of things that stop. Your computer is constantly checking if mail arrived. Your phone is constantly checking if your mail arrived. And when you receive mail, it downloads it. and it gives you a little badge. It constantly checks. If you, you'll see there's some other things that you can change. The map is constantly checking to see where you are. All these things that are constantly checking. When you want to save battery, you want to stop those constantly checkings. And then what happens is that if it's, I got any emails, you go and you check emails, and the moment you open your email app, then things download, like you tell it to download, instead of having anything automatically happen. So that's the negative, which is no negative to me, right? It's like, that's fine. I don't need to get email all the time. I'll get it when I go check it. So if I look at my email, I won't have a message all day that says you just received 5 more emails. But the moment I want to go read emails, I go open my email and boom, 5 messages will drop in, because I will have it check in at that point versus all the time. That's on. Does that make sense, Jackie?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
There's a bit more of a description, but those are mainly the things that happen behind scenes that really take up battery space that you're not even aware of. So downloads. Sometimes you have, like, maybe you have one of those settings to update your phone all the time, and you have it on all the time. So at some point, Apple releases a new update for your apps, and you're just toddling around doing your thing, and your computer goes, ooh, your phone goes, ooh, there's a new update, and it just downloads it. No matter that it's your lunchtime or whatever, as long as the phone in the background can do it, it downloads it. But that takes up battery power. And by the way, that's only if you said, sure, update automatically, right? So then if you'd have it on low power mode, it won't update automatically. Now, this low power mode doesn't stay always on low power mode. I would love it to always stay on low power mode, but it doesn't. As long as you plug it in, the moment you reach 80%, it turns itself off. It goes back to green. It's back on normal power mode. They assume if you have a lot of power that you don't need to save power. So if you have a kind of phone that's new and always arrives at the end of the day with power, then you don't need it. But if your phone is kind of one of those that towards the end of the day, you keep finding that I'm running out of battery, then just turn low power mode on from the beginning, and the only thing you'll notice is that it won't, it'll last all day now. That's the only big change that you'll be. I'm going to stop this share, and I want to show you what happens in where this control panel is on your computers now. Okay. So first I'm going to go as usual to Ventura, since most of you guys have Ventura. So I'm going to share my Ventura screen. Most of the Ventura or Sonoma, by the way, you have, but it's very similar. And up at the very top of our screen, we've talked a little bit about the dock, about how to take things in and out and modify what you want on your dock. Remember some weeks ago, we learned how to choose what you want on your dock?
Yes.
Or no, we did that, right? I'm like, yes, someone says up there, but I want it to be someone who's only been in this class. Well, anyway, pretty sure we did it, and if we didn't, let me know. Up at the very top, this bar has on the right side a bunch of little stuff. And what I have, what you have might be different. Okay. But
Are you sharing your screen? You said
Yeah.
on the top.
yeah, I'm sharing a big orange tulip. I don't know, I need to give you guys a break. Big orange tulip, do you see that there? I'm gonna start my share and share again. That's me not sharing, okay? And now I'm gonna share. Did you see what I'm sharing now? It's just that since there's nothing on it, it might look like I'm not sharing, but way at the very top, it's kind of hard to see in the share, but there's a whole, for people who are here, make it a bit bigger. All those buttons there might be different than mine or not. Now I'm at the computer. So Afra, you have your computer here, look on your computer like Louisa does, and then you can't get your power. Okay. So then right on the right side, I have my Monday, February 26th, 3:39 p.m. And then right next to it, the first icon that goes by is these two little sliders. When I click on that, this is my control center, my computer. Okay, this is my computer control center. If you are in for those of you who are here who have the old version, then it's the same exact spot. So Monterey, that's the control center. Okay, so there's no change in what is the control center or not. Did everyone find it?
Yes.
So the top most important, since I'm on Zoom, I have this video effects on, it's got to do with Zoom. Other than that, what typically appears here at the control center is, again, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and this thing called AirDrop. Now, remember that in my phone, what I had was Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and my phone connection. Well, my computer doesn't have a phone connection, so why would that show up here? I don't make, I don't have a cell line into my phone. So I only have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and then airplane mode doesn't appear here, although we do have airplane mode on a computer. It doesn't show up here either because it's not, when you're on a phone, they tend to tell you, hey, put it on airplane mode, your phone, but they don't tell you put your computers on airplane mode. So this is just quick access stuff. I'm going to tell you a bit more about AirDrop later, but that's the kind of stuff that shows up. How to control my display, if I want it darker or lighter. How to control my sound, if I want my sound higher or lower. And then a lot of people play music all the time. There's a quick little music to start playing music all the time. I don't play music when I'm working. So this is an example, something I could choose to not have here, right? Sound and display does work for me. Others of these do work for me. I'm going to teach you Stage Manager, which is a whole different thing. But if I want to control these again, I would go to the system settings and I would go to the control center. Again, just like we did on the phone. And in the control, I see your hand is up. Give me a second because I want to show this and then I'll begin to answer individual questions. So if I go to the system settings control center, instead of saying yes or no, plus or minus, in this case, it just changes a little bit. It's more like I don't want it in the menu bar or I do. So let me explain. These will always be in your control center. This is the stuff that's always there. Just like on the phone, the first part was always there that we could make choices on. But what we can show is if we want them in the menu bar or not. So that's what I'm going to explain in a second. If you guys don't know what the menu bar means or not means, give me a second on that. But then down here, I can add or not these, okay? So I can add that I want to see the battery or not. And I wanted to see the battery. And so you can show it in the menu bar or you can show it in the control center. So that's the menu bar. Hold on. The menu, mine says show the battery in the menu bar, and that is the menu bar. I am seeing it right there. You see that? It also says yes or no to show percentage. If this is off, all I'm seeing is a little battery that says it's full. If I click show percentage, it's telling me that it's 100%. But you choose what you want to see. But if I go to my control center, I don't see battery in my control center. If I say yes, show battery in the control center, and I go to my control center, now I'm showing battery right there in my control center. And I could say, do not show in my menu bar. So it doesn't show up there. And every time I want to see my battery, I'd have to go to my control center and see it there. This is the control center. That's the menu bar. And the reason they're redundant is because for eons now, oh, not there. For eons, the menu bar has been where we find stuff, this. But then people on their phones wanted to have a control center because they liked it. And so they wanted it in here. So that's why the control center was born. I've always been able to look up here to see if I had Wi-Fi or not, if I had volume or not. But most of those things transferred themselves down here to the control center. Does that make sense? So now you can choose if you want them or not in another one. So Wi-Fi, I have it to not show in the menu bar. So when I go up here, I don't see it in the menu bar. I do see it in the control center. If I said show in menu bar, then there's my Wi-Fi icon right there, but it still shows up here. So now it's in two places. Like you can't take them off the control panel, but you can decide yes or no if you want them in the menu bar or not. Does that make sense? So it's not like you can turn me off. You can just show me only when I want to. And those are the choices. So the Bluetooth, if I show it in menu bar, then that's the little icon for menu bar. And for 20 years, 30 years, I've used the menu bar, so I kind of like to see a menu bar and not have to open anything. But some people might not want all this stuff in there, and they might just want to be able to do that and have it there. So in my personal computer, I kind of like to show things in the menu bar. And I just look up and there it is. That's telling me how much battery I have. So this to me is a little bit superfluous on the computer because I have mine showing. But if I were to say, don't show, don't show, don't show, don't show to all of these, right? Don't show, don't show, don't show. Then I'm gonna keep going. Don't show, don't show, don't show. In menu bar, see how my menu bar got simplified and now I have to go down here for them. That said, there's still things that will always show up in the menu bar. And one of them is my Zoom, the fact that I'm on Zoom right now, Google Drive, iCloud Drive, this is my time machine. There's things that will always, this is my Google Drive. No, this is my Zoom connection from school. This is where things will appear whenever I want them to appear. And this is where I make decide. So my sound centers, all these choices, if I want them to change or not, whether I just want them in the bar. Okay, now that I've shown you all of that, you guys can choose to either have them here and here. Then you go, yeah, I want my battery in your menu bar, right? Or if you want them only there, that's the choices that you have. And then these might not even show anywhere. I don't see hearing anywhere. But if I want to see them, I can either show the hearing controls in my menu bar. There they are. I see an ear, or in my control center. And there they are. They're in my control center. As I said, I don't know the hearing settings too much yet, what they do. But that's the choice. That's the choices that I have. All right. I'm going to stop my share, let you guys think, raise your hands, ask me questions now. Lisa's been asking me a question for a long time and I've been not ignoring, but I'm trying to finish the subject. So yes.
So
Lisa?
where you said that the control is just like a Siri.
Oh, okay. So yeah, something Lisa is showing me on her computer, after the time, she has Siri, and then she has a console turner icon. So on her screen, so screens show up a little bit differently. So I will show you my screen. That doesn't mean that it's there for everyone. So here she has time, then she has a little round ball, which is Siri, and then she has the control bar. So Siri is this guy, right? Under the control center, you can choose to have Siri, right? And then Siri, and I'm going to tell you a lot about Siri, but I guess this computer has Siri, the computer had Siri turned off. It turns out that when I have Siri turned on, every time I talk about Siri, my computer keeps turning on and wanting to do something for me. I'm going to turn it on right now. So if I say yes to Siri and I say enable, then, oh yeah, yes, I discovered that the school has certain things closed off for me for some reason. And one of them, for example, in the control center, I'm not able to do fast user switching was important. And then Siri, I cannot turn this on. And I think it's a safety, I don't know why. The school doesn't give me permission to enable it. But I've never had that issue at home or anyone on their computer. So when you do enable it, you'll have a little ball in there. I do have Siri enabled in my phone. So I'm going to show you Siri on my phone. And so Siri on my phone, watch, I just said the word Siri and see this little ball that appeared down here? That's it answering me. So watch, I'm going to say, Siri, set timer for 10 minutes. It got confused. Hold on, because I had said its name and talk. So let me start from there. Siri, set timer for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Okay.
You guys couldn't hear it, but my phone just told me 10 minutes counting down. And it set me a timer for 10 minutes. Okay. So there it is. I'm gonna turn that timer off. Honora said that she says, she tells it, I'm not going to mention its name, to turn on the flashlight. I'm going to say, Siri, turn on flashlight. Oh, I have to say Siri and wait for it to, usually say, hey Siri. Turn on flashlight.
How do you,
It's on now.
I don't know if you guys can see that my flashlight turned on.
how do you turn on Siri?
Let me turn the flashlight. By the way, from in this phone, just from the very main screen, I can also turn on the flashlight right there. I don't even have to go to the control panel, but the older phones don't have that. So how do I turn on Siri? Again, in the settings panel now on the phone, I can go under general, home screen, whatever, there's Siri. I click on Siri, and then you can say yes or no for listening onto Siri. So if you don't have it turned off, then so if you say no and you say off, then Siri doesn't, it says listen for is off. It won't, I can say Siri all I want and the phone won't react. But under listen for, if I say, listen to Siri or hey Siri, now since I had turned it off, when I turn it on again,
Sorry, me. I couldn't find that in your phone.
when I say continue, it's gonna tell me some things. Siri, how's the weather? Hey Siri, send a message. Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes. Hey Siri, get directions home. Siri, play some music. Done. So what it basically did there is it trained Siri to respond to my voice and not to another voice. So if you said, hey Siri, if there's 4 people in the room that have Siri on and I say, hey Siri, it doesn't turn on in 4 phones, it turns on in mine. Although when I said it at first, it turned on in yours. didn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, got on my iPod, on my yeah.
either my voice is similar to yours or whatever, or you didn't train your Siri to respond just to your phone yet, or something like that. So now I said the word, that's why when it's on, I can't say the word, but then it keeps turning on. It's easier if I have it set to just say that word, because then I can say the word Siri and it won't react, versus having to say that sentence. Now I have to actually say that sentence for it to react. But now, before, that's all you could do. Now you could also just say the word, in which case it reacts all the time. So one way to survive on this one is to have it just be that, and then I won't say it so often. But I need to show, because this is a teaching phone, that I need to do that. Anyway, so that's how you set it up. And you know, you can, let me just say, when you turn all of these settings, when you turn them on, then a lot of the choices are, who do you want to have this work with? So do you want your calculator, for example, to work with Siri? Do you want your books to work with Siri? Do you want your clock to work with Siri, right? So you can say, do you want the time, whenever you say what time it, my typical questions would be in the morning. I don't have an alarm clock or anything anymore. I'll just say, I left my phone in the bedroom and I'm in the bathroom, and I'll go, that person, I won't, what their name. I'll say it right now. Siri, what's the temperature today? I'll say that, and it'll just answer me. Yours is reacting to my voice. How funny. Well, anyway, yeah, so Luisa's phone is that reacting to my voice every time I say it. But anyway, so hey Siri, what temperature is it today?
The high today will be 62 degrees Fahrenheit, and the low will be 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
If I want more detail, I can click on this and I can go into the entire day's weather and the whole thing. Now notice that as soon as you start using these things in my phone, it's not sharing, because this is a private thing, but it's not sharing itself, but it's asking me, those of you who are here in person, my phone is saying, should you allow weather to use your location? And you can't see it, but I swear it's appearing right there, because it's the first time I've used the weather app on this phone. And so I get to choose if I want, and let me just stop this share so I can put it up here. See, So it's saying, do you want to allow it once? Or do you want to allow it only while using the app or don't allow? You see that message? That's a really important message. Every time you use something for the first time that needs location services, your phone is going to ask you these things. And this is an example of something that is necessary or not, according to your needs, and which might or not use your battery, or which might or not be an issue with privacy. So when I said the name of this person and I said, show me what temperature it is, it just showed me Santa Barbara. Right? And how does it know that I'm in Santa Barbara? Because this phone has the location services enabled. Now, you can tell it to all the time have it on, so it always knows, or only allow this app to reach, to know where I am when I use it. That saves you battery, and it gives you a little bit more privacy because you won't always be followed around by that app. So if you don't want that app to know, you say don't allow, then it'll give you some generic middle of the country temperature. So it's up to you to choose yes or no. I don't want it ever to know where I am, or I'll allow it to know when I am, when I want the weather, which is the one. Or you can say just allow this one time only, which is allow once. Depending on the app, I'll choose one of the three. Sometimes no. Why in the world does the calculator need to know where I am, for example, right? It probably doesn't look for location services, but maybe if you have a feature for tax and it knows where you are, it'll know what the tax is in Santa Barbara versus in New York, right? But in this case, if I say allow while using the app, then that means that every time I open this app of weather, it'll just, when I'm in New York, it shows me New York's temperature. When I'm here, it shows me Santa Barbara's temperature. Does that make sense? Because it just knows where I am. So that's a choice that you always have to make whenever you get anything opening up for the first time. It'll say, well, do you want to allow it or not? And I'm going to share my screen again. Now that I said yes to that one, then when I go over to that app, to the weather app in my settings, it tells me that I've chosen location while using the app. Now, so let me just tell you where I am right now. I just used the weather app, and so the weather app asked me something. Great. Now I want to check in on the weather app and see, not use the weather app, but in the settings, I'm going to scroll down to the weather app, right? And this is the whole, I can't show you every app that's here, but this is what I want to teach you. You go in here and you go, okay, what is the weather app allowed to do on my phone? Well, for location, I've allowed it to find me when I'm using the app. Now, the problem is if I have the app open all the time, then it finds me all the time, right? So it's up to you to always know to close apps when you don't want it. But otherwise, ask next time. This is what it just did to me. It just asked me when I used it, do you want me to know? That's what it just did. Do you want me to use it? Or I can say, no, never, never. If I say never, it won't know where I am. It won't send me notifications about storms are coming up. Or I can use, while using the app, or widgets. Widgets are the little widget. These things are little widgets. So if I have a little weather widget here, that's what that means. And then always means all the time, anytime, track me wherever I am all the time. I kind of like always the choice of while using the app personally. That's just my choice. And then precise location, you can choose general location. So it knows I'm somewhere in Santa Barbara and it has this big circle of Santa Barbara, or exactly I'm in Goleta Turnpike, or I'm in Montecito, or I'm in Costco, right? Because temperature, in this case, weather, how much can it change? Well, it does change, but it matters maybe less. But if you're trying to find in a map how to get somewhere, precise location matters much more, right? Anyway, so that's the kind of thing that you can change. You can also tell it to tell you the temperature in Celsius or in Fahrenheit. I personally, this is one that I have in Celsius. I don't know if I said it too many times in this class here, but I'm from Argentina. And in Argentina, I know I don't sound like it. I've been here for years and years and years, but one thing I never got accustomed to is Fahrenheit. Like, I just know it's kind of hot or kind of cold, but it doesn't tell me anything. Versus temperature in Celsius, I know exactly what to wear.
We were supposed to switch over 20 years ago.
Yeah,
but
well,
we never
so
did.
in my phone, if you tell my phone to tell you the temperature, it'll always tell it to you in centigrades, Celsius centigrades. So you can make those choices, right? You can also tell Siri whether to learn from this app. So Siri in each app is going to ask you questions. Do you want Siri to learn? So if all the time you ask Siri that you're in Santa Barbara to say the weather and you're in Santa Barbara, it'll know to always prioritize Santa Barbara. That's what it means by letting it learn. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to system settings, which is always Fahrenheit. Since I teach this class, I try to always have it in basic settings. And there you go. Do you want it to use cell data? What does that mean? If I'm here connected to Wi-Fi, it finds the weather for me. But if I were to be on the road and I don't have Wi-Fi and I ask for the weather, it won't give me the weather unless I tell it, sure, use cell data. If I tell it not to use cell data, then it won't be able to give me the weather until I connect into Wi-Fi again. Now, if you have limited data, then you should always say no to this. But if you're on unlimited data, then this should stay on because who cares? Just use data to find out the weather, no matter where I'm at. Otherwise, how useful is this if I can't tell? Does that make sense? So whenever any app asks you for cell data, like when I'm overseas, have you ever traveled and overseas cell data is really expensive if you're in the States, right? So I turn cell data off on everything when I'm traveling and I just use the basics because they charge you, was it roaming or something like that fees, right? But I just turn it off from the very top. From over here, I actually just turn off my cell data, right? There, so that it doesn't, and I only turn it on if I want to make a call, but I don't need to be like on my phone. Anyway, as usual, I've talked a bit too much and I haven't given you guys a break for a while, but I just wanted you guys to, and it's very late, so we're gonna take a quick break. But this settings here at the top, it's all the iCloud questions when you go to your name. But anything underneath is about how you want your phone to work. Okay, so we checked out the control center. We checked out a couple of things. There's so many. We checked out the battery. I believe for those of you who came to my class, that was my Q&A class, the third week. I talked all about the Find My. You can find your phone, you can find people wherever they are, that kind of thing. If that's interesting to you, please go and check the recording of the third class. That was the Q&A. Anyway, so yeah, you can change this all the time. I'm going to show you the maps, and I'm going to leave it in maps when I come back so I can show you that. But I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to first give us all a break. It's interesting because most of my classes are so long that it's clear that we need a break. But to me, in comparison to my 4 or 5 hour classes, this one is short. So I don't remember in the middle of it to give a break. So you guys are welcome to interrupt me and tell me, hey, it's time for a break. I turned my phone off 3 times when I told it to, when it told me it was a break time. So let's take 10 minutes. What time is it? 4:03. So be back by 4:13 p.m. But be back at that time. That way we can take advantage of the rest of, think of any questions you might have.
Yes.
And cool. So let's go. Anyone who's here, you know, we're gonna leave the room so that you can all leave your computers and your phones here. Anyone needs to go out.
Okay, yeah, where'd you get it? Where'd you buy it? Okay, you know how big it is? I didn't
It's 15 inches.
Do it yourself?
City and police.
I had it for a long time when I used to have the PCs out. Yeah, that's slower than the distance. So I kept them. And now.
Oh, look at that. Never did it there. So I could. It's like we're gonna do Apple, we can help it. Perfect.
Yeah, no. Really old, and I-
All right, guys, can we leave the room, please? Take a break.
You have it, so. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to kick you out, but before people.
Yes.
Un goody. Oh, sí, ahora sí.
Hi, what you doing?
Who, me?
It's my girl. She's my real girl. We're gonna make some chili and just a little bit cricket.
And I have a problem.
Yes.
Let me-
Here, let me in. Call in people from home. All right, guys. If you're home, if you're here, turn on your videos or show me some signs of life. Yeah,
You know, in the past, in my feet and was eating, I would do that, I could see. Now, Apple sign phone isn't so, I can turn it on, I have.
just the turn on that you just did, if it's turned on. Turn on.
Now it's good, but most of them is Apple sign. Apple.
Apple sign is if you turn it off completely. Like off. your phone off. That's- Turn it off. Here, that way you just
Wait,
did.
no,
Like,
it's-
turned off, but that completely turns it off.
Cause I smoke 4 packs a day.
Yeah, it has to sign
It
in.
is going to come up when it comes up there.
Comes up shiny. All right. Okay, guys, we're back. Interestingly enough, I had just been talking about how I needed to put the school's new credit card here for the new payment. I went all the way to Emma's office and I show up there and the only phone I have, of course, in my pocket is mine. I'm like, oh, I've been holding on to the school phone all this time and I didn't take it all the way to her office. Oh, well, this one stayed connected to the
So you
computer.
were born with a computer in your hand?
No, not at all. In fact, even less than typical Americans. I'm from Argentina. So I even went to college for design and regular, we did everything by hand. And then, but as you can tell, I'm very fluent in English and in
Yeah,
Spanish.
cause you have no accent.
There's a whole backstory to that. I grew up living all over the world, going to American schools. There's this American school for expats everywhere. So I went to those schools and at home spoke Spanish. So by the time I went to live in Argentina, I kept my English. Anyway, whole point is that at some point I was doing interpreting while I was in college, and then I was interpreting or translating and interpreting for Bell South International, who came in to install the first mobile phone system in Argentina. And the engineers from Bell South International brought computers with them, little Macs. No, laptop, we're talking, you know,
Yeah.
it was the beginning of computers, a little square Macs. And so I would sit there and use them to translate all day. And then after we were done, the guy's computer that I was using had PageMaker. And I was at school doing design. My career, at school, I was learning design. And I discovered PageMaker, which is a layout program. Now it's the program we use in InDesign. And so I asked if I could use it. He said, yeah. So I would play around with that after work. He showed me a few things on how to use it, and that's it. I came here to go to Brooks for photography also, everything liquid, everything by hand. But they began, when I was there, they opened up a computer lab for the first time with 5 computers. And I knew PageMaker. No one else knew anything. And so they hired me as I was the student, whatever you call it, the aide, class aide. And then I kept learning because I was there teaching and learning, and that's how it all started. But I'm actually a product of learning how to do photography by hand and learning how to design by hand. But very early on, when begins were beginning, I began to use computers. But, yeah.
Yeah, I used to have my dark room. I could get, you know, I sometimes would go in there like on a Thursday afternoon and come out on Monday. I mean, just, you know, exhausted and hungry.
Yes.
But
I didn't know you were a photographer. There you go. See, yeah, I know what you mean. Because I was also a black and white room with Ab Aid, and so I was in there forever. I went between lab and computers in my life. All right, guys. Hi, Denise. Thank you so much, Julie, for what you said. All right. Let me see. Show me. After I had something happen, I said, "Okay, we'll let it shine out." Next time, do like really call there's something happening on the phone that he told me he showed me when it happened. And I guess it just happened, but I was talking. Okay, so I can't show you every single setting, but what I have hopefully been able to show you is that in the computers, what you have is, no, what's happening here? I can't. What I have been able to show you hopefully is that both on the phone and on the computer, the system settings,
Diane, online, we're looking at the classroom.
I'm not sharing anything.
Oh, okay.
That I can't show you every app of everything that's in the computer in the control panel. And as we move on and into Wednesday is our first day of Mac level 1. And we're going to go into a very particular part of what we do with the computer, which has to do with finding information, files, file formatting, file storing, find that kind of stuff. So we're not going to touch the system settings or the computer or the phone system settings much anymore, other than to get into the iCloud for a few pointed things. But we've explored them, and we're going to continue exploring a little bit more today for you guys to see how you can make the computer work more for you. And there's every update, there's something new that I have to learn as well. So it's not like you learn it once and there it is. For better or for worse, even if you never updated for 6 years and you think, oh, finally, I don't need to update, then I'll learn on my computer. There's still probably 85% of what the computer can do that you don't know, even if you didn't update, right? So the way I see it is it's better to keep updating, and the 10 things you do well, keep using them in their updated format. And then if you learn an 11 and a 12 and a 13, you'll never learn the 1,000 things a computer can do, because it's ridiculous how much computers can do right now. Half of you were not surprised, and the other half of you were amazed to know that you can put your boarding pass on your phones just by today's conversation. And there was like, oh yeah, of course I do it all the time. There's different needs that different people have had for their equipment that you've been taught to do once, and that's what you do all the time, right? Someone at some point showed Honora how to turn on the flashlight with Siri, and that's how she's been doing it. Other people had no idea you even had a flashlight. So it's what you've been using that as long as you learn a little bit more each time and use the things that you need. I don't know that everyone needs a flashlight. Maybe you have the kind of situation where you get out of your car, you walk into your door, it always has a light on. And, you know, a flashlight is not a thing and your hallway at night always has a flashlight when you go to the bathroom. But in my case, I use a flashlight all the time. All the time, for example. So I know how to use it from a long time ago and I'll keep using it. But that's just a simple example of all the different things you can do. To learn more about what the camera can do and photography in particular, that's when I teach the iLife class, which I think I've mentioned here a few times. It's getting it's almost full. So if anyone's interested in that class, please sign up before it's completely full. Because it doesn't open until April, I believe. So we have one more month, but it'll be full in a few more days. And so if you're interested in that, please sign up to that one sooner rather than later.
Do you have, is it prerequisites to that?
No, but basically, hopefully, no, there's no prerequisites. But here, let me share there's no prerequisites, but some people take it and they don't know much about phones at all. And some people take it and they take great photos and they just want to know how to organize them. And other people want to know how to edit them. Any place or whatever you do with that is fine. Here it is. Now it's only online. Okay. So for those of you who today, Jane mentioned how comfortable she felt, how good it was to be able to just basically click on Zoom and the day that everyone had to attend online because of the storm. So if you don't dare, because you've always been in person, just give it a try. It's not rocket science, but it's not necessarily that easy when you're at home to have Zoom on your screen and on that same screen to have to use your computer applications. You know what I mean? Because you end up having to do this little half and half thing. So if you can borrow from someone an old laptop, anything, or an iPad, if you have something like that, then you can watch me on one screen and do the work on the other. That's the easiest way. But give it a try. And if it becomes like doesn't work, then that's fine. But for the most part, I'm able to help people to make it happen. How many? I'm at 21. Oh, they upped. I thought it was 24 people. It's 26. So I still have 5 more spots. So not so bad.
That house in class. So
Say-
always gonna be on
This one,
the island.
the iLife, hold on. Let me just write. Oh, sorry. Living the iLife. I'm just putting that in here. That one is a conundrum because this time it's only online. Maybe by next spring, I'll do it also in person. But the whole point is that people organize their photos. And if you come in here, you don't have your photos. So you have to work with sample photos and nothing better than having your own photos to do work on. So it's kind of better if people are at home is what I find. But that's true of all these Mac classes in reality. So yeah, I think the next time I teach it, I'll do it like in this next fall, I'll do it both in person. But in the summer, everything I teach is online. So the summer version will not be in person, but I think next time around I might do it.
When will this class be over again?
What's that?
When will this class be over again?
In the summer,
Oh, the summer?
and then in the fall.
Not in person though. Online, correct.
What's that?
It's often online, the summer, right, not in person.
This has always been offered in these 2 modes. Now, I have to say, up until now, every time I offered it in these 2 modes, everyone who came in person slowly filtered themselves out to be online. And for the last 2 or 3 classes, I'd come here and there'd be no one because people figured out that worked better for them. This is the first time that I have a group in person that actually stays in person, although Dawn moved over. Dawn is now at home and most of you guys stayed in person. So that's great, but it was kind of weird to set up this whole thing to be in person and to now have no one here. So I'm happy to have people in person and at home. But I am also happy for you guys to learn how to handle online classes because some classes are only offered online now. And it's good for you guys to know. I don't know that we'll have another pandemic, but why not know both ways? And then I have a whole bunch of other classes that should be online, which are my web design classes, which crazily enough, they don't have permission yet to be online because they didn't get taught through the pandemic. So everyone who wants to learn web design has to come here in person only, which is ridiculous, right? Web designers who would be the most appropriate people to learn online have to come into the school. So things are a little bit twisted around and it's,
In order to take your class for the web design online, you need to have either two instruments at home or split your screen, right?
yeah, my web design classes are in person here, so they're not.
But I mean, just.
But the iLife, yeah, ideally you would have two screens. Look at the people who are right now at home. For example, Dorothy is always here twice. Well, right now I don't see Patricia is sometimes here twice. And some of you guys have two screens. Right now, most of you seem to be on, see Patricia here shows up. There's Patricia and this is Patricia. I'm showing like your guys' photos. So it's much easier because she watches me on one and then she just uses the other computer to do it. So if you have a possibility of to use Zoom, you can have any old laptop that someone's not using anymore that you stopped using a while ago, an old Mac or whatever, an iPad, the computer your kids are getting rid of, just enough to you click on the link twice, one for that one to watch me, and then you work on the other one. But why do I need you to be on both? See how Patricia's on both? If we come upon a problem that Patricia has to share her screen so that I can help her, then she can share her screen on the one that she's working on. Otherwise, if she's just watching me and working and you run into trouble, we will begin to be much more hands-on on the computer as of Wednesday. You'll be working with your files. And if she runs into trouble, she can just share that screen she's working on, not versus if you sit in only one and say, I asked Julie to share her screen, she can do that, but that's the same screen she's watching me on. So if you have the chance to put up two, that's easier for you guys. It's a bit more like I have two screens here and I have three in front. It just works out a little bit easier for people who are at home. And if you can't, then most of you guys are on one and it still works. It works, so that's fine too. Okay, that's fine. I'll see you on Wednesday, Afra. Thank you. All right. What else was I gonna say? The computers have always had the computer screen. I'm gonna share now my desktop. Computer screens in general, right? Have always had the top bar, the top bar there, called the menu bar, and the dock. And through those two things, we handle the stuff that happens in our computer. And if we want it to be different than the way everyone else is, the way it comes from the store, then we manipulate it through the system settings, right? So I've shown you some of the ways to manipulate. I've spent today most of the time on the phone, but it's exactly the same thing. You buy the phone and then in the system settings, you choose what you want to do more or less of. I'm now going to be here on the system settings for the computer. This is the Ventura or Sonoma, okay, not the old version. It looks this way on Ventura Sonoma. And I just wanted to run you down a couple more things that are very, very crucial to understanding some of the basics of how the computer works. And one of them happens to be similar, and I need to move this over so I can see the rest of you guys. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time. I have 10 more minutes of this to show you that here on the left side, the ones that have been talking about today have been Control Center and Spotlight and things like that. There's two important ones, appearance and accessibility. I won't have time to show you all of them. Appearance, accessibility, and notifications were the ones I'd like to talk about most. Let me quickly go through appearance. This one's easy. Appearance, this is what I was telling you about. If you want your computer to go dark and you click over here on dark, suddenly, see how my entire screen went dark? The background of this is black. My tulips went darker, everything went darker. If I click on light, everything is white and this is white and everything is white. Now, if it's nighttime and I'm looking at everything bright like this, it'll be harder for me to fall asleep. So dark helps that extreme bright light not be in your face. But if you don't want to be doing this change all the time on your own, then you can choose this one, which is auto. And right now it's light enough out in the world at 4:30 that auto still means it's bright. But if you leave it on auto, you'll notice that as the sun begins to set, it gradually goes darker. It kind of does like a sunsetting thing. It gets gradually darker and darker and darker. And in fact, it's already going a little bit darker than before. It's, winter 4:30, but Santa Barbara, we have a lot of light. And then as you suddenly notice by 7 p.m. or whatever, you'll notice that you're in this mode, you're in dark because it slowly got darker. And that's the one I prefer because it helps me not have all that light. But let me warn you that if you're accustomed, say I'm going to open a Finder when you're accustomed to seeing it like this, and you're like, okay, I'm got accustomed to this, and then suddenly you come up at night and you turn on your computer and suddenly your computer looks like this, you might go, what happened? It looks so different. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, it's just the color, but it looks so different that it can be confusing, like something new has happened. It's not just this went dark and this went dark, but it is visually quite different than this, right? So play around with it yourselves here, get accustomed to it first, maybe, so you're not surprised at what's happening when it's dark and recognize it as exactly the same before you maybe turn the auto, that way that you become accustomed. So again, the system settings, they're gonna go dark too. And yeah, nothing has changed, but it seems to change a lot, right? And so, yeah, that's just, I just wanted to show you that because maybe you wanna just get accustomed to first seeing how it's gonna look in dark before you hit the auto. That way you're always comfy with your computer. Yes, Barbara?
Doesn't that affect if you're working in Photoshop or?
If you're working in Photoshop, you cannot do this.
Right, well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Barbara is one of my Photoshop students. I know Patricia also does some photos. She works on photos. Any of you guys who work on photos professionally, you can't even have this kind of background. You should have a very neutral gray background so
I have a
that
gray one.
it don't affect your image, that kind of thing. So that's a whole different conversation. But for 99% of people, then yeah, that works. Okay. And even if you're a photographer, but you're just not 100% of the time editing your photos. So for the rest of the time of your life, you can have this be on auto or on dark and be fine. But then when you go edit your photos, you actually have to change that background. And that's, in fact, I wasn't going to go there right now, but I'll go there. You can change that background. So over here under desktop, where is it? It's here, wallpaper. I know. That's warning me that we have 5 more minutes to end class. By the way, this class ends at 40. As of Wednesday, for some reason, the class finishes at 3:35 instead of 4:40. Sorry, 4:45 instead of 4:40. Whatever, it's the same amount of hours technically with the way they schedule it. So just so you know. Anyway, so if you go here to wallpaper, let me turn other stuff off. If you go to the choice, so here we were under appearance. If you go all the way to wallpaper, you can choose amongst a whole bunch of what they call dynamic wallpapers. And just so you know what dynamic wallpapers mean, it's these that will go from light to dark. If you choose light and dark, these only go light or dark. That's it. The dynamic ones are the ones that slowly, as the sun sets, they become darker with time, right? So, and the computer knows what time it is and what part of the world you're in. So it goes down also based on, in the summer by 9 p.m. it'll begin to go dark. In the winter by 5 p.m. it'll begin to go dark, whatever it is in Santa Barbara. So that's what a dynamic means versus light and dark. These are either or. Then you can have different different pictures. You can change what's in the background. These always drive me crazy, especially next class where we're going to be talking about file management and stuff. When you get any of these really busy ones, it's so hard to see any of the icons you have. So I particularly don't like any of those. But if you want to see more, see how it says show all, you can click on show all right there. And there's a ton of pictures that you can choose, and some are a little bit less crazy than others, right? But see this teensy little icon there that's got a little cloud right there? That means that it's got to be downloaded for you to be able to use it. Anything that has a little cloud with a down arrow, and it says to put in the Big Sur Show Rocks, you have to click download. It will download, and there you go. Now I've got the Big Sur Rocks. See that? So those are options that you have, but they don't come loaded on your computer until you download them. Anyway, so then if you want, for the people who are worried about photography, you can go to one of these neutral colors like middle gray, which look how boring that is, right? But if you're going to be, in fact, I think darker middle gray, that's the good one. So for those of you who are photographers, you understand middle gray. I think it's even light for middle gray, but that would be what you'd want in your background to not affect your choice colors. If you're a pink person, you can go to pink or blue or whatever. These are easier to see what's in the background. The one that comes with your computer has to always do, there's an image that will be part of your, there's an image that'll always be part of your operating system, right? So your operating system is going to have, if you're Ventura, it's this tulip. If you were Monterey, see it has the name, it was like that. If you were Big Sur, it was that image, right? So as up until Big Sur, it was always photos of the places that the thing was named after, right? So every time, well, now you have to go download it. But as of Monterey, it became this graphic kind of shape of mountains, and now Sonoma, it's showing you California poppy. Ventura, I don't know Sonoma, what the image is. Some of you guys have Sonoma, what the image, I don't know right now what the Sonoma version is. But these are the ones that are dynamic. The rest are going to be set in stone. But the one I wanted to show you, for those of you who don't need to worry about having it flat or not, and this has to do a little bit with the Photos app, but you can also choose photos. So I have, and I'm not going to show you how to do this right now, but in my Photos app, I have a series of photos. These are just photos that exist in my photos that I took with my camera that are in my Photos app, right? Long story short, one choice I could have is to have my photos be part of my background. See that? Just by clicking here on my wallpaper, I can have these photos appear, and I can have them rotate on their own, or I can have them come in, you know, every 1 minute or every 10 minutes or whatever.
I love those curls.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those are my kids.
Those are your kids?
My little boys who are now, God, I can't even believe it. They're now 16 and 20. No, they turned 17 and 21. Yikes. I can't believe it.
Like that.
No. And the thing is, well, this is, you can't see him well, but this is my, see, you can't see the whole screen, and that's one of the problems with this, but this is my, see, it's a long photo and you can't choose to see the whole thing. But these are,
Berkeley on it?
what's that?
Berkeley?
Berkeley. Oh yeah, he's at Berkeley right now. And this is that. But the whole point is that you can have these, when it says auto rotate, you can have them change and show every photo you have, or you can show very specific favorite ones or folders and stuff like that. When you take the iPhotos class, I'll show you more about this so that you can choose that, or you can have your own background photo. There's a background photo of mine, right? That I took that I want to have instead of these other ones. So you can choose what you see, but the only ones that will slowly get darker or lighter are the dynamic ones. I would recommend don't get anything too busy like that. That would drive me crazy to constantly having to be looking at that. But then again,
These are called numerous breakdown.
different people like different things. Okay, so that's wallpaper. So remember, as much as I did this on the phone, I have my basic wallpaper that came with this phone that I taught you, but on my personal phone, I do also have in the background, same thing, pictures of my family that rotate around, right? So you can, and I'm showing you my people here, my personal phone. So like, where's my camera? I'm just showing you that in the background of this, hold on. I don't know if you can see, but I also have, where's the camera? I also can have different photos. So those are the different photos that I'm cycling through. I don't know if you can tell in the camera. Those are on my phone, so I can change my wallpaper. So again, you go to your phone's system settings and you choose under appearance and all of that, how to set what images you want on your phone. Okay. The notifications, I'm gonna teach you more when we get to Mac level 2. So that's a good one. But for those of you who are bugged by the phone binging or the computer binging at you every time it gets a mail or a message or that kind of stuff, go to your phone's notifications app. And that's where you can choose whether you want to be notified every single time something happens. And you can turn off the notifications or on based on if you want to be here, or if you, every time you type, you don't want the click, 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 but you can change it in the sound. Same with your phone, you can change the sound. So this is it. That's what the settings are, helping you decide what you want or not to set up. Oh, here's the wallet again. You can add the card right here. So if, on my computer, I can add a card, and what it would ask me is to put my phone by my credit card by the camera. I'm gonna exit that because it's a school phone. It's not letting me. Then every time you go pay something on the computer, say you pay something in Amazon, it just remembers your credit card. What's dangerous about this is always who can access your computer. So how many hours did you spend saying only have people who, if you do put your credit cards on your phone or on your computer, make sure that no one has access to your passwords except for yourselves or some very, very trusted person. Which is never, however much you love your grandkids, it's never your grandkids until they're of a certain age. Okay, love them or not. It's never your grandkids until they're still in the age where they know better than you. Once they begin to figure out that, it's kind of equal out, then you can have them be the ones in charge of your password. All right. So play around with your settings, ask me questions, even though most, this class is technically over, but Wednesday we're meeting again, even though it's Mac level 1, you're welcome to ask me stuff that you've discovered or found on your phone or on your computer around settings. We're going to keep coming back to settings, but we're going to focus on the iCloud part of it for the transfer of material. So we won't be going to all of these here, but explore them yourselves. There's accessibility. You can make the text smaller, bigger, that kind of stuff. Just play around with them. The only other thing I want to say before I go, as always, is how do you learn on your own? Okay. So if I'm not here to teach you all these things, right? And you get to your phone and you go, what's that dark mode? Remember Honora was asking me, what's that dark mode? I think it was called all the time. So go to the computer, go to your internet and write dark mode, and then ask specifically what, like if you have a Ventura, or if you're asking about it on your iPhone X, or if you're asking on your iPhone 8, be specific about what because dark mode can be so many hundred different things. As you can see, this gives you choices. So dark mode, what? So if I saw dark mode in Ventura, for example, or an Apple Ventura or something like that, but that usually works. How to enable dark mode in macOS 13 Ventura. But notice that this is just some website in the UK or whatever, which might work. I'll turn this on and it'll explain it. Quickly turn dark mode on or off, click the control center in the menu bar, click on the display section. See, it's kind of explaining to you the stuff that we did today. But if you didn't know the basics of what I did today, you would look at that and it would seem like Chinese, right? So now you can begin to go, oh yeah, the controls, you talked about the control center. It's up there on the menu bar. There's the menu bar, right? Click it, click in there and then change it. You can also, the ones that I highly recommend is that when you want, the main thing that I recommend is to always keep going until you find Apple support, okay? because all of these are different people who write about it, Max Sales, Zapier, whatever, they might have good information, right? But keep scrolling until you find, and many times it's the very top choice until you see that it's Apple support. And if you click on Apple support, then you say, what version are you in, Sonoma or in Ventura or in Monterey? So it might look a bit different. Say that you're still in Monterey or in Catalina, right? Then it says how to use dark or light in Catalina, and it'll give you a different information than if it's in Ventura or Sonoma, right? So you go down here and you read the instructions. And again, what does it say? Control center. In the menu bar, click control center, click display, then click dark mode, which again, now you know kind of where the control center is and what's the menu bar, and then click on dark mode. So this would be the best way to you guys having questions on the user guide. So if you want to just get accustomed to Googling for the Mac user guide and ask, again, some of the questions will be so technical that before today's class, you might have not been able to understand this, but at the very beginning, usually it'll say on your Mac, choose the Apple menu, which is, and it shows you the little apple, which means go to the little Apple guide. Then choose system settings, right? And then choose system settings, and then click appearance, and it looks like that, and it shows you the little icon in the sidebar. You might need to scroll down. So let light, dark, or auto. Light is a light appearance, doesn't change. Dark is dark, that doesn't change, etc. Right? So basically, everything I just taught you, for better or for worse, if you begin to learn how to help yourself, then there's so much I didn't teach you about the control center, right? So then you go search this guy and you go control center. Oh, Sanger, center, right? And what are you on? You're in Monterey, Ventura. See, it didn't exist before that. So there's no older versions, but as of this version, there's control center. Okay, I have Ventura control center. Okay, so then it shows you, there's the control center. Remember I told you today, and these are the icons to turn them on or off. Click here to see information, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, you're coming to class because you don't want to have to figure out on your own, but what if I'm not around or you're not in class? And between April and May when the class finishes until June when it starts again, hey, there you go. The Mac user guide has some descriptions. The videos are a bit harder when you go to YouTube because they speak fast, they don't know, they show you 10 things, they don't show you where to go. But those little things, if you kind of begin to follow them, at least they give you an idea. Like they could have explained what dark and light mode and auto was without, needing me around. All right, I've been past my time now by quite a few minutes. So
Thank you.
take care. And so
See you Wednesday.
stay and ask questions, answer questions if anyone has any, but other than that, I'll see you on Wednesday, most of you. I think
Thank
most
you.
of us.
Thanks, Deanna.
Thanks, Deanna. And can we just come to
Thank
class
you.
for
Bye
one day?
now.
Say that again.
Can we come into the classroom for one class?
Oh, yeah, great question. You can come here anytime you want. And any of you who are here who suddenly you feel sick one day, but not really sick to not take the class, you just don't want to come in because you might be coming, just connect to Zoom. I send the link that says for today's class to everyone, no matter that they're in person or online people. So you guys one day feel like you want to be online, granddaughter's coming in 2 hours and you don't want to miss the first part, click on the Zoom link. At least you can hear it in. And then those of you who are on Zoom, one day you know that it's something you need on your computer, you need help on hand, come into the class if you're local. Some of you guys are not local, but if you're
So what room number are you in?
room number 3. As soon as you come into the Wake Center, the first building you find, the second door down. It's really really
Okay.
Thank you, Diane.
third door down because I'm room number 3, but one is a side door, so it's really 2 down, 2 doors down.
Thank you, Deanna. Get home safe.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you guys in person or online on Wednesday. Take care.